It has been at least 2, probably 3 years since this grill was in operation. Believe it or not, it is a grill. And because it looks as though the forest would like to reclaim these logs, let's replace them. I've brought with me a couple of replacements. They're about 13-inch diameter and about 13 inches tall. Maple is nice and dense, and these logs are fresh and wet, and so it will resist burning really well. Let me show you how it all goes together. I think you'll like its simplicity. Over here we have the other half of the grill. This has been untouched for probably 2 years. A couple of big ceramic tiles. Porcelain, so it's nice and hard. You'll see what those are for in a bit, other than just protecting our grill grates. These logs that are already here, they're pine, and they didn't hold up all that nicely, but it was from a wind-snapped tree, so it didn't cost me anything. Even after all these years, this would still function all right. So this lower part will sear your meat and do your heavy cooking, and this is for placing it up. Warming rack, you know. Oh, and the tiles. Let me show you. These just make a nice sanitary and rather heat resistant working surface. It's a prep surface. The idea should sell itself, because even after a few years of just letting it sit here in the forest unattended, it would still work fine. And before I forget to mention, a big flat rock angled at about 45 degrees reflects heat. The idea is have heat come in this way and radiate from the stone once it gets nice and hot. Oversized ceramic tiles are easy enough to dig up. The grates might give you a little more of a problem, but believe it or not, if you check your local want ads, you'll probably find them overflowing with used and sometimes free old grills. And the last thing we'll need is a chainsaw. The cut is about 1/3 of the way through the log, and as you can imagine, this will get consumed by fire, but it will work for quite a while. You can see it self-supports just with that little bit. Okay, let's put it together. I'm getting hungry. that's really all there is to it. It's adjustable this way and this way, and that will really help you to dial in that sweet spot to get the perfect meal. Or as perfect as your meal can be when you're stuck out here in the woods. This one should be good for another couple of years. This time with the maple logs, I expect to get quite a number of years, hopefully, with no maintenance. Alright, time to try it out. One last thing before I start a fire, because this shot would be tricky to get then. Build your fire this way and move your grate towards the heat. Adjust these towards it. Don't crowd. Don't make the fire back here. You'll just consume the logs faster. Build it this way and ease in. The idea is to kind of push coals underneath this as you get the fire established. And don't forget the heat shield. That really helps. It's late September, so there's lots of apples still on the tree. We don't use pesticides, so they're kind of buggy. But that doesn't mean that they don't have good meat. It just means that it's harder. You have to work for it. There is lots of good apple in there. Of course, I'm still a little bit snobby. When the ants get to it, forget it. But technically, you still could pull half of an apple out of this if you're pressed. A little splash of lemon juice will keep the apples from browning. We start by making a sort of bird's nest. Tinder underneath, and up on top, nothing thicker than a pencil. Gradually, we increase the thickness of the stuff we add. And all of it is dry, nothing picked from a tree. All of it was found on the ground. The last step is to cover the fire with fuel. Not like gasoline fuel, but like seasoned maple fuel. This is dried for a couple years, and once this breaks down into coals, it will be extremely hot. It's just about ready now, and I can tell because you can almost make out right here a slightly bluish streak where it's starting to burn really hot. It's time to spread these coals open. Once there's a solid bed of coals underneath, you can regulate the temperature by adding a couple small pieces of maple. And one of the nice things about this design is back here on this side, there's a fairly large mass that blocks the heat. That deflects a lot of heat, and this completely blocks it. So it's pretty comfortable to cook from this side, even if the fire is really hot. Believe it or not, this is still cool to the touch, as those, just a few inches away, start to sizzle. Down underneath, we have vegetables and our apple treat, which we will serve on graham cracker once the apple gets nice and soft. No, you can't have any. It was an enjoyable evening, and I'm glad that you joined me. Last night, after you left, I raked all of the coals into a pile and doused them with water. Today, I would like to show you how this grill held up. If you make a nice little pile of coals and douse it with water, you end up with char, and this makes a nice soil amendment. I throw this into my compost pile to reduce the smell and make it easier to shovel. Another reason to pile up the char and douse it is that doing so helps to keep these from burning away. Look how nicely they held up. It didn't even burn through the bark on our first try. At this rate, we could have dozens and dozens of cookouts before we have to replace these logs. Just note when you're dousing your coals, be careful not to get your ceramic wet. If it's hot, thermal shock can crack it. But as for heat and fire, don't even worry about it, as long as the temperature change occurs slowly. Alright, it's time to sanitize this, quote, and put it away for the next few months. What the leaf litter doesn't scour clean, the ants will. And if you're worried about being sanitary, that's why you place this over a flame first. Originally, this was a nice little stone bench, but you know, best laid plans. Good for another 2 years. Hopefully not. Cooking out is therapeutic. It's sort of fun. We don't do it enough, do we? It's too easy to take it for granted. Thanks again for joining me. See you on the next subject. I'm coming.